'tis I. Hey everyone, glad to see you back, glad to see you looking fresh, and today I wanted to be talking about Highguard, one of the highest profile releases of the year already, maybe most infamous game releases of the year already. It was the One More Thing at the Game Awards last year, and so a lot of eyes were placed on it almost immediately, and a lot of anticipation and expectations were placed upon it also immediately. And then it was radio silence from the dev team for almost a month until the game came out, and then it showed up to, almost 100,000 players on Steam, and then of course more than that across all platforms, but the game itself has not been able to retain that number at all. And that's basically what I wanted to discuss here is the game dead already? It's been 2 weeks. That's the time frame that Concord was basically received a few years ago, and that's been the one that it's been compared to a lot. Now, I don't think Highguard is as bad as Concord was on release. For one, Concord had a paid entry, so that was a huge barrier for a lot of people. Highguard is a free one. You can go in and try it if you want to. That being said, the numbers don't lie, right? You check the Steam numbers now, which is the easiest way to check player base. It being down from almost 100,000 down to less than 5,000 multiple times isn't great. Now, why is that the case? Why aren't people latching onto it? I have a few ideas, and I've talked to some of my friends, one who has played the game daily. He does his daily quests every day since the game has come out pretty much. And then another one of my friends who has played it kind of in the middle, right? He likes it a little bit more than I do, but not as much as the other one. I have three different perspectives on this. We'll start with a friend who's played it daily, right? He loves the game. He has a great fondness for it, and he'll say it constantly that he really likes it. He wishes the game does well, and I share that sentiment. I hope the game continues to do well. I don't want to see a game like this just up and die. He has a few favorite characters he likes to play, one of them being the main character right on the home screen, and then one other one as well. And he's played enough to know that every character, he says, feels quite a bit different. That's where I disagree. I think a lot of the characters feel extremely samey unless you're using their abilities constantly, because the weapons are the same across the board. And we'll get into that a little bit later. And that's just shared sentiment across all of us, is that weapon and gunplay feel the exact same. Movement, tech, and the way you interact with the world is other abilities are different, but gunplay is exactly the same regardless. One of them brought up the fact that there should be a better practice mode. There's, of course, a tutorial to show you how to play the game, how to move around, how to shoot, all that stuff, right? But in terms of learning every character and learning their abilities and actually attacking some AI enemies, that's not really the case. You kind of just have to go right into the main mode, and you're gonna get beaten down by players who have played this game, it feels like, way more than you have. So that's just one of the things you have to deal with. You just kind of have to go in blind with every character. And there are 8 characters on release, and while playing this video, a 9th character was released. And when I said a lot of characters felt samey, I do still feel that. However, I do think that the newest character kind of calmed that down a little bit, because I do think the newest character feels different enough to a lot of the other ones where I say, all right, I like what this guy's doing, and I think that he's my favorite to play now. But let's get into the gunplay. So the guns are scattered across the map. You start with some, and you can buy some as well. So there's different ways to upgrade your weaponry. However, all the guns are for every character. Some guns are rarer than other ones. Some guns are common beyond belief. All that being said, though, I wish that either some guns were preferred by certain characters. Let's say you start with, the Sand Lady, who's a character that I enjoy. Scarlet, I think her name is. And say she prefers sniper rifles. So she either starts with a sniper rifle, and then that's the one that's easily upgradable, so when you go to the shop, you can easily upgrade the sniper rifle. That would be a good way to do it, instead of going to the shop and it's just a random gun that can be upgraded every time. That feels a little silly to me. Or if she can interact with the gun in a special way. Say she prefers sniper rifles, and her abilities are able to interact with the gun in ways that other characters aren't. Maybe her sand makes it so that it can pierce through walls or something like that. Or say you have the guy that looks like he's straight out of Street Fighter, him and his fire capabilities, say he prefers shotguns. And his shotgun gets a fire breath attack, where it does increased range and maybe fire damage as well. Something like that, to make the guns feel different for characters. If you're going to have a character shooter, make the characters feel as different as possible. And if any given gun feels the same in any given character's hands, then it doesn't. It makes characters feel very samey, even if they each do have different abilities besides that. And going on characters, right, and hero shooters, this game has been compared to many other games. Overwatch, in terms of picking your character, I mean, any hero shooter that was going to do that was going to be compared to Overwatch, so that is what it is. However, other bits and pieces have been compared to other games, such as Apex being a huge one, which I mean makes sense if it's the same developers, and it's also been compared to Fortnite with some of the mining things. So it has a lot of clear influences on the gameplay. I do think the raid mode is pretty unique and pretty fun and the best part of the game. It coming out with 3v3 was also pretty unique, but it upping the case to 5v5, I think everybody agreed that that was the more fun mode to be playing. And so even though they tried to be a little different with 3v3 only, going to a more standard 5v5 format was an increase in quality for a lot of people. That's one of the final points I wanted to kind of get into, was how are the developers reacting to the response of their game? Well, for like I said, a month before the game came out, there was literally nothing. It was a silence that was felt very strongly because people didn't even know what this game really was until like a day before it came out. So expectations were all over the place. What could this game be? Is it going to be like Overwatch? Is it going to be just another Apex? No one really knew. And then, of course, the game came out, and Jeff Keighley was hyping it up like crazy. And then the response was kind of down the middle. Some people really liked it, some people hated it, and a lot of people were just kind of like, meh. Like me, right? I'm kind of just, I want to like the game a lot more than I do. That's the biggest thing. So I want to see it succeed. So when the developers come out with a roadmap and they say like, okay, every month we're going to have this and this and this and this. Sounds great on paper. However, it's been 2 weeks and we've lost a good amount of the player base already. In the last 2 weeks, though, they've introduced a new map, a new base, a new character, a new mode, right? There have been new stuff added to it. But it still feels like this game should have been like a beta or something. We should have been able to try it. And it just doesn't feel finished yet. And actually, there's been 2 new modes. So think about it. There's 5v5 that I talked about. And a ranked mode just came out. Which is great, right? More stuff in this game is a good thing. But it may be too little too late for all that stuff. I think the game should have came out with a 3v3, a 5v5, and a ranked. Even if that meant delaying your game 2 weeks to include all that stuff, I think it would have been a better product when it came out. And there have been people defending the game, saying, well, it's not their fault. You know, they didn't want to be the ones at the end of the Game Awards. But, I mean, come on. I don't think that Jeff Keighley really twisted their arm and made them be the one more thing at the Game Awards. If they would have really pushed back and said, no, we don't want to be that, they very easily could have put, like, Mega Man there, and that would have been just as big of a pop. Hey, Mega Man's coming back. It's all good. They could have still been at the Game Awards, but them being in the biggest spotlight of the night, they were going to get eyes on them. They were going to get scrutiny. They should have known that. So I don't really see that as a viable defense. However, I do think they've been better about talking about what their plans are. I just hope that it's enough. And I just hope that people are sticking around enough to get to that point. You look at the roadmap and they have it planned out for like the rest of the year. Are we even gonna make it to like August to see what that character could possibly be? I don't know. I don't know. I think that's just the easiest way to improve it, right? Is just to keep throwing more stuff at it. I think that's the game's biggest problem, is its lack of modes. I think having a ranked mode right out the gate would have been a huge thing for a lot of people. Even if you just had a simple quick play and a ranked mode, right? That's 2 modes. This game came out with 1 mode. If you didn't include like being able to walk around and shoot guns and the tutorial. right? I don't think people really include those either. All that's to be said, I think the game has potential, and I think that the game could improve. It's plagued with a lack of things to do. It is plagued with an abundance of odd decision making. Like, when a person leaves the game mid-match, the match should either stop or it should give you another person. There should be a kill cam, and there's not. There should be weapon stats, and there's not. There should be cut down on some of the time of waiting, right? Everything needs to load, right? You load to start a match, and you load to pick a character, and then you load to upgrade your base, and then you load to be able to go out into the world, and then you finally are able to do that. And then when you're being respawned, it takes 20 seconds. Well, it doesn't sound that long, but when you're doing it and you die a lot, and the game kind of plans for you to die a lot because it's based on an armor system, and I don't want to get into all that, but the game plans for you to die a lot, so when you die constantly, it's a 20-second cooldown, it feels like you're there forever, and it's annoying. So just cutting down on a lot of the waiting in this game would help a lot. Even legitimately, 2 seconds off of everything adds up a lot over the amount of times you have to wait in this game. Just little things like that, and the kill cam, right? The kill cam is almost a necessity in a game like this, because when you die in a weird way, in a situation where you don't think you should have, and you don't see where the enemies are coming from, and you don't know what ability they use, sometimes it just feels like they're cheated. And I know that's not the case, but when you just get obliterated and you don't know how it happened, you just question, what just happened to me? How did they do that? Plus, it helps you learn other characters too. Oh, I didn't know that character could pull that off. Oh, I didn't know that gun was capable of that. So that feels like an absolute requirement to me to improve the game. But, like I said, I hope that the roadmap thing works out for them. I hope that they continue to talk to their player base and listen to their feedback. They seem to have been doing that more and more, which is good. But I just hope it's not too late for them. So, have you guys been playing Highguard? What do you think about it? Do you really like it? Did you drop it after a day? Let me know down below. Thank you so very much for watching. And as always, like this if you like this, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you at some point.